We need to have a talk about Jérémy Doku. This player is becoming incredibly polarising and dividing the Manchester City fan base. So that's what this video is about, adding some pragmatism to the discussion, investigating the pros and cons, the good and the bad of Jérémy Doku. I've got some clips to show you. In fact, it's pretty much Jérémy Doku's in his whole highlight reel of yesterday's game against Slovan Bratislava. 27 clips, actually. 27 clips. 13 very good ones and 14 not so good ones, the ones that need to be improved on, and the area of the game that frustrates me and why that half of the Doku conversation is getting annoyed by Jérémy Doku and frustrated. But the first 13 clips I'm going to show you it's scintillating, it's dazzling, and it's breathtaking football from Jérémy Doku. We do need to factor in it with Slovan Bratislava. I felt like his best performance this season was last night against Bratislava. And his second best performance of the season was Watford. So the two levels of opposition there are not up to the standards Manchester City have. We want to be seeing these levels of performance from Jérémy Doku against your Arsenals and your Liverpools and I nearly said United. I mean, yeah, I put them in the same category as Watford. But you know the point I'm trying to make there is Doku needs to raise his game against bigger and better opposition than Bratislava and Watford. Make no mistake, though, they were fantastic performances. Let's start with the good, first of all. Everything that he did well in the game yesterday was absolutely sensational in the first half in particular. So here we go. Here's some of the clips. This is an example of decision-making we're seeing there. Ball out to Rico Lewis. Really good. Composed. Really good. Doesn't amount to anything. Again, another example of decision-making. Into Gundogan. Back to Jérémy Doku. Brilliant. I think this is the simple side of his game. Really good. Again, composure. Finding Nunes with a nice pass. Cross into the box to Savinho. Comes out to Gundogan. And that is the resulting goal from that situation. And that was the only cross of the game that Jérémy Doku found a Manchester City shirt. The only cross of the game. And guess what happened? We scored. You know? And it's these moments that we need to see more of that from Jérémy Doku. And I would argue that even that cross was a little bit hopeful. Not really targeting anyone there, just get it in the box. And that's the area of the game that I'm going to zone in on shortly. And you'll see why in a minute or two. But it resulted in the goal, and that was 6 crosses attempt from Jérémy Doku, and only one of them was successful yesterday. A lot of his passes into the box, though, were good. And this is what you're going to see. We've already seen a couple already, so let's continue with the clips. Here's Jérémy Doku. Again, simple stuff, but I mean, I've no problem with that, maintaining the ball. Doku into Foden, bang, 2-0. A simple pass like that. Jérémy Doku gets an assist. Just a very simple pass. 5 yards, awareness, seeing a man in space in a better position than you, bang, 2-0. What a finish from Foden that was. Doku again, driving into the box. A lovely 1-2 with Phil Foden. Again, crosses blocked, but brilliant from Doku. What an effort that was. Absolutely sensational. Off the bar. Driving at defenders. Getting City forward into dangerous areas. Gets the ball, again, simple ball into Gundogan, just simple stuff. This here impressed me a lot, you know, just turning and recognising the situation. There's no one in front of him. He needs to slow the play down, let the opposition get ahead of him and let the Manchester City players catch up with him and get involved in the game. So he turns around and gives it to Gundogan. Very, very simple. It's the sort of stuff that Pep will appreciate more than a cross being lumped into Rosette or over everybody's head. The basics from Jérémy Doku is what we need to see more of that. And I'm not trying to discourage him from dribbling and trying to beat his players. I don't want to retract from his game, because we know his game is all scintillating dribbling and explosive power and pace against fullbacks. That's his game. So you don't want to take that away from him. But every now and again, we need to see that level of composure. This was a moment in the second half I'm about to play here. Cuts back onto his left foot, gets it back to Rico Lewis. Shot. Another opportunity in the second half. Brilliant, brilliant. Left foot drive. Beautiful. Absolutely brilliant. I love that. All of those clips I've just shown you there. 13 clips of Jérémy Doku. Really, really, really good. You know, and I mean, where could he go? You know, if you continue that level of performance, and I mean, that alone, if you just said that was his highlights from the game, you'd think he's had an absolutely brilliant game. The facts are, I've got the same amount of clips to show you now, which is the other side of his game, which not only is that frustrating because, yeah, it retracts from the overall performance. It's frustrating because it's like, well, he had the ball so much yesterday. In fact, Jérémy Doku touched the ball 26 times in the opposition's box, according to Opta, which is the most of any player ever on record since 2008. No player has ever touched the ball in the opposition box as much as Jérémy Doku did last night since 2008. Ever. I mean, Absolutely brilliant from Jérémy Doku. Now, we've got the other side of his game, which makes me pull my hair out. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty frustrating to watch. Says Doku gets to the byline. This is the area that I really, really want to talk about. Crossing, decision-making, technique. Getting into the box is fantastic. And having these amount of touches in the box, yeah, it's a fantastic stat. It sounds good. But if you're not actually delivering a ball into the box for a Manchester City player to get on the end of, it's meaningless. It's meaningless, and it gets... The law of averages suggests that Jérémy Doku, with the performance yesterday, with the 27 clips I've got to show of you, of everything Jérémy Doku did, good and bad, indicates that eventually he's going to get himself an assist. If he gets the ball that much, the law of averages suggests he is going to get a goal or an assist. He did get an assist yesterday. It could be so much more, though, and that's the point I want to make about Jérémy Doku is... we could be looking at one of the best players to have ever existed if he just refines certain aspects of his game. And it's just get into training, mate. Get into training and practice, because these clips I'm about to show you are infuriating. So gets to the byline, ball across, whipped across the face of goal, too quick, no composure, no one on the end of it. Again, ball to the byline, Jérémy Doku, cleared, near post. No one near it. All the City players were at the back post, no one was near it. Over here, a decision-making situation. Again, just a little lack of composure there. This is frustrating because this was a moment where it's like he's actually composed himself. He set himself for the cross, cuts it back onto his left foot, and then just infuriating, you know? Again, a powerful drive from Jérémy Doku and he smashes it over the bar, frustrated. Now we're just talking about end product. Balls coming into the box that are just not good enough. Just get simple stuff, giving it away. Running down a blind alley, getting caught. You know, that one there, I would argue, someone should have dropped. Someone should have dropped. Those three City players, think that's Savinho, Foden and Haaland. They're all in a line. I blame them in that situation, to be honest. Because as much as a cross can be the fault of the crosser of the ball, you have to take responsibility as the players in the box to give the options to the crosser of the ball to make that cross a successful one. If you're not running in a correct position or you're standing behind a defender with your hand in the air, you're not going to win the ball. If you drop into a little pocket of space, which one of those three players should have done, arguably Haaland in that situation, just drop a little deeper. I'll play it again just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. In that situation where Jérémy Doku's bursting into the box, Haaland just drops there, and Doku even looks for it. He wants someone there in that little pocket of space, but no one drops. So I'll pass that by for Jérémy Doku. But on to the next clip. Doku driving forward, no excuses there. That's just poor. Onto his left foot, telegraphed it. Very, very readable for the defenders. Now you're starting to see that shimmy, shimmy, yah, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yay little move from Jérémy Doku. Defenders are starting to figure it out. So as much as we've seen him use his left foot in this game, he started to become a little bit predictable. And the second defender in this situation read it like a book and steps in and knew exactly what he was doing, took the ball off him. This time, it's too much showmanship, you know? It's too much showmanship, and he beats the one-on-one situation, gets to the byline. It's all fantastic, and looking at the little jarring movements that he does, gets to the byline, crosses it straight into the keeper's hands. It's such a waste. I mean, who's even looking for there? You know, that's the frustration. As Haaland's making a little run to the back post, he's got to dink that back post. So when you say, like, okay, what do you want from a cross, Johnny? What do you want? I'll show you what I want. And I mean, this is Matheus Nunes, who, by the way, I don't think he had his greatest game yesterday. I thought like he was brilliant against Watford. Obviously, outside of the goal as well against Watford, I thought he was really good. Nunes was okay yesterday, not brilliant. But it's this level of composure. Now, this is more of a pass than a cross, to be honest, considering the position that the ball's coming from. It's coming from a very, very deep part of the pitch. But the vision, the awareness, if Doku could just take a little sample of this vision from Nunes or multiple other City players that have this level of vision, and just the technique, the composure, look at the technique, man. He just whips it in right on the money for Rico Lewis. Bang, right, lands on his foot, mate. Do you know what I mean? It lands on his foot. Brilliant run from Rico. This is Savinho now, another example of a cross that I want to see more of from Jérémy Doku. So, very Doku-like, bursts past the fullback with ease, gets to the byline, no problem. Look at that, though. Look at that. He's composed himself. What is Savinho doing? He's not looking at the ball. He's looking at who's in the box and where they are. That's what Doku does not do. I don't see him do it. Every time Doku gets to the byline, I'll get frustrated because he's looking at the ball more often than not. And when he gets there, he seems to be stretching to cross it. He seems to be so explosive that he's got to chase his own dribble and get to the byline to make sure it doesn't roll out for a goal kick. And he's just getting it in hopeful. It's like, I've done my bit. I'm just going to get it in the box and hope for the best. Savinho's not doing that in this situation. He's showing the level of composure that I want to see Doku show. You know, get to the byline, slow down occasionally and just relax the muscles a little bit and just find the Man City player. Just get your head up, dinks it, back post, and unlucky. That was a good cross. This is Núñez now. Not only does he take the time, he gets it back onto his right foot, onto his favoured foot. You can just see the relaxed nature of Núñez in this situation. Need to see this more often from Jérémy Doku is the point I'm trying to make. Núñez gets the ball, gets his head up. Again, that's the main point I want to see from Doku. Gets his head up. Haaland's got to make that a goal there. He's missed an absolute sitter. This is the level of Doku's game that I feel like is what the one half of the City fan base is so frustrated with. Is that just getting into moments where it's like, what could have been? What if moments? The nearly moments from Jérémy Doku. It's all good and well saying, oh, he played brilliantly because he entertained me. He is entertaining. Very, very entertaining. Everything he does gets you on the edge of your seat. But if that cross comes in and it blasts over every City player, what good was it to entertain you to begin with? Because I would rather win the game. I'd rather score some goals because that's more entertaining to me, scoring goals. And Jérémy Doku has the ability to get himself so many assists, so many goals over the course of the season. And if I'm Jérémy Doku, I'm taking a leaf out of De Bruyne and Gundogan and Savinho and Núñez in this particular example. I don't consider Núñez to be a fantastic crosser of the ball, but we need to see more of this level of crossing from Jérémy Doku, because imagine if he refined it. If I'm Pep Guardiola, or you know what, if I'm not Pep, if I'm Doku, I'm saying in training, I'm staying after hours. I'm doing the graveyard shift in training. I'm saying, give me a bag of balls, mate. I'm not going home yet. I'm going to stay on the training pitch and I'm going to burst to the byline and put some mannequins in the box. I'm putting 3 mannequins in the box. I'm putting 1 on the back post, 1 on the near post, and 1 on the penalty spot. Okay? And if I want to hear that ball going ping off the metal of the mannequin every time, and not the near post man. I don't want to see any of that where the defender's most likely going to win it. It's got to beat the first man, and it's got to not go over everybody as well. Training, mate. It's got to be practice, 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 practice. If he spent a year of training with Manchester City doing extra hours after class, let's call it, where he gets that level of crossing ability refined to a much better standard, what a player we've got on our hands. Because you can't stop him. You're just praying the cross isn't good enough as defenders nowadays. And too often it isn't from a Manchester City perspective. It's disappointing to see the level of crosses coming in. But make no mistake, what he did in the first half yesterday was breathtaking at times. And there was that level of composure. You just need to see it more consistently now. That's the point I wanted to make, Blues. But what is your opinion on Jérémy Doku? Get in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts. Like and subscribe to Typical City. And I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up silver.